Perfect. So we are back. Thursday's tips and tricks. I have Louis here. He's with Espresso Agent. And Espresso Agent, if you don't know what that is, that's where you find the best information for expireds, your withdrawns, your FISBOs, your for rent by owners, all of the good stuff with a dialer, a good dialer at that. So we don't have a lot of time, only 30 minutes. So I'm going to let Louis take over and he's going to dive right in for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. I
Yes.
appreciate it. And thank you for having me today. I'm happy to kind of share exactly what we do with you and your group here. And hopefully we can help them uncover more opportunities and really kind of drive some business on the seller side, to help them grow. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And let's see, can everybody see that okay? Is it popping up there for you?
Yes.
Very cool. Okay. So essentially, like what Espresso Agent is, I think I should start from the top here, is basically it's an all-in-one platform that's really going to help you guys get in contact with more sellers. That's what we are. And in doing so, it'll allow you to, drive more business on the listing side. I mean, I know that that's kind of been a thing for a long time for a lot of agents that we want to try to do more listings. We want to focus more on the listing side. A lot of agents feel that way. And with everything going on with NAR right now, with respect to the commissions and all of that, that's going to be implemented in the next, I would say next 20 days or so, I'm thinking middle of August. Um, there's a lot more urgency than ever from a lot of people, but let's go ahead and dive right in. What we have here is our welcome page. This is what it looks like when you sign in. And this is kind of just a place where you can get an idea of what's going on right now, right? So within the platform, we do a couple things. Now, you are not alone. Now, a lot of agents, when they come to us from the first time or for the first time, you may not have been very experienced in doing this in the past, right? This might be your first go around, and sometimes that can make you feel a little hesitant. You might have some call reluctance. You might not be like kind of not sure where to start. So we have within the platform, and I think this is quite honestly probably the best part, is we have a foundation in place that helps agents get better and better at making these types of calls. So that way, over time, you'll have better contact rates. You'll have more thorough conversations with clients, and you'll do better. So we do that by hosting workshops every Monday and Wednesday at 12:30. These are Zoom workshops, and they run for about 30 to 45 minutes. And you're not muted on these, so you're free to interact. It's not a training. It is for all intents and purposes an actual workshop. So they might have something that we want to cover for maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, and it could be just could be scripting, it could be tonality, it could be any number of things, right? But then after that, they kind of really ask you guys and the agents that are on in the workshop like what they're personally struggling with, and it could be anything. And once we do that, then we can have a dialogue back and forth. We help you with role playing opportunities and things like that. We also have a Facebook group to get involved with, which I highly recommend. There's always people looking for role play partners there, and there are some people that will also help create list or help coach on how to do listing presentations and things like that. So the support system is really there. And then we also have another workshop held every Thursday, which is Objection Slayers. This is a little different from launch because launch is more like best practices, what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. Objection Slayers is more like just laser focused on when you're on the phone with the client, what they're saying to you to get you off of the phone and how to overcome that and get that face-to-face appointment. So there's a lot of value there. It's just done a little different. So I don't think that I actually explained what we do. I think I just kind of dived in. So essentially, what Espresso Agent is a platform where we're going to be looking at your area out up to 50 miles for sale by owners. And then all we do is we gather all of the contact information for those folks and we push them out to you through our system so that way you can prospect on them and try to earn their business. That's essentially how the platform works. Now we push these leads out to you through our system here, through our CRM, and we have a dialer built into it, which I'll show you in a moment. That will give you so that way you can make the calls really quickly. But that's in essence what we do. Now, this is how we send everything out to you. It's a very simple platform. We want it to be as simple as possible and as user friendly as possible. So when we do those scans, we push everything into a folder system on the side. The off market is going to carry all of your expired, canceled, withdrawn listings. Your for sale by owners, this FSBO folder, everything will go there. And then the for rent by owners, everything will go there. So pretty self-explanatory there. Now, one thing that we do here that I think kind of sets us apart is that we're also scanning every morning for these expireds. And when we do that, we identify if anything that we've already sent you has been relisted with another agent or the same agent. And if so, we kick it out and we push it into this relisted folder. And that saves you a lot of time, number one, from having to check every time you go into a contact. But it also it also prevents you from accidentally or continuing to call on people when there's no opportunity. So we just keep the opportunity right in front of you so you can be laser focused on doing it. Now here, I mean, these aren't real people, so there's some information that's missing. The first thing is over here, you would see like what it is, an expired, canceled, or withdrawn, and then any notes that you have here. Now, this is just a high level. This screen is more just a high level of the contact, but you do get a lot more information for these people. You'll get email addresses, names, addresses, phone numbers, all of the listing information for the property, value, you name it. So there's tons of information on the contact when you click a contact. But so in order to use the system and to start up our dialer so that way you can make the calls, it's very simple. All you're going to do is click on the contacts here, the check boxes on the contacts that you want to call on, or you can choose this button here to select everybody, and you're going to hit a big green begin dial session button. Oh, and those are the folders. But when you do that, the dialer will pop up. Now, a couple of key things about our dialer. Number one, this is a single line dialer. And what that means is it's only dialing one number at a time. Now, there is an advantage to that because multi-line dialers are flagged immediately as spam calls with the phone companies. The phone carriers recognize that it's a power dialer making those calls. So a single line dialer gets around that, and we'll take an extra step when you sign up, you get a phone number from us, and we work with you to get that number verified as a business, so that way you do not show up as spam and your calls are going through, right? And that's very, very important. So now we do scan every number through the National Do Not Call list, so don't worry about that. You're not going to be having any compliance violations there. And when a contact is in front of you, which is what you see here, we give you all of their information. So here you would see a line of the phone numbers that we have available to them that made it through our vetting process. You'll have their name, their address. You can shoot them an email really quickly if you'd like. We do sync with your email servers. We have a link to the Zillow listing if you want to check that out. And while you're on the phone, you can make any notes. So we've designed this in a way to really, really allow you to have all the information at your fingertips. So when you're on the phone with somebody, you can have a knowledgeable and good conversation with them. And actually, this slide probably should be updated here, but there'd be another tab where you have scripts. So if you have a script that you'd like, or we have scripts that are available to you and you want them in front of you while you're making the call, you just click on the tab for the scripts. It's right in front of you. Okay. Now, once you finish with the call, very simple. You're just going to type in whatever notes that you have and disposition it here. Once you do that, it's dialing the next person just like that. So you end up getting through phone calls about 4 to 5 times faster than you would if you were dialing on your own. and it kind of just takes the I don't know, it kind of takes like unnecessary delays kind of out of the picture, because I don't know about you, but when I have a list of people that I'm calling, sometimes I want to get up and get some coffee or
Right.
whatever, or look at something else. And believe it or not, all that time adds up. So,
One
so
thing, one thing I want to add about the dialer, one, it's fantastic. I love this dialer. But you can pause it too. You don't have to, like, if you pull up 100 people, you don't have to sit through the whole thing and go through the whole 100. You can pause it, go do what you got to do, get your coffee, whatever you got to do, and then come back and resume. Another thing that I love about this dialer.
yeah, great point there, Carrie. I appreciate you you mentioning that. Now we actually have a whole nother mode too called pause dial, which is a little bit more it's a little bit slower than what you had mentioned. When you're just getting used to the platform for the first time, you can actually have it to where you actually will change it to the next contact and make it dial. Like you can press the dial button. So if you want to go about this a little bit slower to familiarize yourself with the platform a little bit and the dialer, you can do that. It goes to the contact and it waits until you tell it to call. So that's available for you as well. But trust me when I say this, you'll it won't be too long before you're comfortable and you're just letting it do its thing. So all right. So that's the dialer, and we went over the for sale by owners. We went over. We also do for rent by owners as well, which is what you would get from us too if you wanted to call on investors. Now, this is our neighborhood search. Okay, so not only are you able to prospect on the canceled, expireds, withdrawns, for sale by owners and for rent by owners. You can also curate your own lists here. So I don't know if any of you guys do a lot of circle prospecting or promoting your open houses and you want to start calling the neighborhoods around. You can do that here with our platform as well. Now, all you would do is start with an address, or you can do a city and state, right? Whatever you want to do, and move the map around if you'd like to get the specific area. Um, and then you choose a radius around that, and then you'll get all of the data within that radius. Now, keep in mind, this is too big because this is thousands and thousands of people. You want to keep this kind of small and a little bit more targeted, right, for what you're trying to do. And you can do that simply by zooming in really close. And if you wanted to, you can even draw specifically what information you want for the homeowners. So if you wanted just East End or this little subdivision, you just draw a little box around that, and that's what you're going to get, right? Um, and then that will get you with the standard data. You're going to get up to 2 phone numbers, a name and address for that individual, and an email address if it's available. So you'll get all of that. Here are some of our filters. So you can search by length of ownership. You can filter by the year built, estimated values, and things like that, which is pretty standard in most neighborhood searches that you're going to see. But the ones that most of our agents love are these. So these kind of help target and specify what you're looking for. We have notices of default. These are pre-foreclosures. So if you did a large search, like we saw in the last thing, this would actually be kind of good if you're going to do a large search, because, or if you're going to do pre-foreclosures, because there aren't going to be a lot of, or as many, I should say, results that come back within all of these people. So doing a search like that for the notice to default would be good, because these are going to be those folks that, they're having a little bit of trouble on their mortgages, and they're in a position where they kind of have to make a decision. Now, it's a really sensitive call to make, but it's really highly likely that they're going to need your services. So that's a good list to call on if you if you can kind of handle it. Kind of a kid gloves sort of a situation. But
Yeah, they're not the friendliest when you call them. I used to call them for a little while, but I would approach them in a more like helpful way. Like, let's see if I can
probably
get you
best.
out of this so we don't have to sell your house. And they're still really not the friendliest.
Yeah. We also have a filter for empty nesters. So, folks who kids have all left the nest and who might be needing to possibly downsize. That's a very popular one that our agents utilize. Free and clear. These are folks that don't have to, sell a house potentially, or need, to move, or might be willing to sell that and pay cash for something. So you want to, so that's where you can do that. High equity is very similar, but likely to list is kind of where I want to spend a little bit of moment, like just maybe a couple minutes here. Likely to list, when you're doing a neighborhood search, it doesn't like exclude people from any search that you do. What it does is it reorganizes the results to put the lowest hanging fruit at the top so you can make your calls efficiently. And how do we do it? There's like hundreds of data points that we look at to determine if somebody is likely to list, right? And we have AI helping us sift through all that data to help determine that, and then spit out the list in the best order possible. Now, what are those data points? There's a lot, but what I can't, so I can't like go into all of them. But what I can tell you is that the people who are at the top of your search here, these are going to be folks who have something going on in their life. There's a life event, something like that, more than likely, meaning, they could have been recently going through a divorce or have finalized one. There may have been an estate sale of the property. They might have just had a child and might need to get a bigger home, things like that, right? So those are some of the things. Now we can't tell you specifically what the reason why it's there for privacy reasons, but just know that when you have that conversation, if you build some rapport and you earn their trust on that call, there's likely something going on where they may need your help. So that's how likely to list works. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, it's a very simple platform. It's designed for you to be able to use it quickly and efficiently. And these are the different plans that we have here. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to mention is that through Carrie, because she's awesome,
Very true.
we have if you did sign up, through Carrie in this introduction, you guys will have access to our listing builder challenge, where basically, if you're willing to do the work and make some calls and meet some criteria, if you don't get your first listing within 30 days, your second month would be free. So we really want you to win, right? We want you to get that listing. We would rather put a commission check in your pocket than get an extra, $279 or whatever it is from you, because we know that once you use it and it works for you, you will do it for a long time, because obviously you're growing. You're growing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we have that. In addition, right now, unrelated, we have a special promotion that we're doing, a sale currently that runs through the end of the month, where our pro package, instead of paying $279, is $179. Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So it's $100 off to give it a
That's
shot.
nice.
It is, because we never do discounts to price, like, ever.
No,
So
like no, you don't.
I don't think we even did one for Black Friday, but
No.
so it's kind of a big deal. But we do have that running through the end of the month. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of the differences between these, basic is for an individual who does not want to call on expireds. So you might want to do some neighborhood searching and you love for sale by owners and for rent by owners. That's what basic is for. Geo is just for people that want to really dive deep on the neighborhood search and use that primarily as a driving force in their business. Pro, it has is where you get your expireds and your for sale by owners, for rent by owners, and the neighborhood search. And then Platinum gives you everything that Pro does, but it gives you premium contact data for the neighborhood search. So it just goes a little bit more in depth, and just to kind of make it easy, premium data is top tier in the industry type of data when you do a neighborhood search. it's the best that there is, meaning it's live data. So this is the most up-to-date contact information for people when you run it. So if somebody changed their number last week, Premium's going to catch it, right? Standard might not, depending on when it was updated. They tend to update that generally every 6 months, sometimes quarterly. It just depends. But but Premium will get you the difference, and we run through a little bit more and verify email addresses for you. But that's the only difference, and that only applies to the neighborhood search. The expireds and everything is the same. It's all Premium data for expireds. And that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
No one has any questions? All
No
that awesome
questions.
information? Christine, you have no questions? You always have questions.
She's laughing. I love it.
I know. I'm like, now you have no questions. You're muted,
Oh,
babe.
she's muted. Yeah.
You're still muted.
Thank you.
There he is.
The likely to list, which one's
Yes.
that in?
All of them. All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. And that's just a filter within our neighborhood search. So that's going to be in every single package. Yeah.
Okay. And what were you saying about the special? There's a special. What were you saying with the if you don't get a listing?
Yeah, that's a listing builder promotion where if you don't get a listing within your first 30 days and you're doing the work and making the calls and everything, then your second month is free. Now, the criteria for that are as follows, because I mentioned it, I want to make sure that I clarify that for you, is that you have to log in at least 15 out of your first 30 days. Okay, so you got to use it half the time. And when you're making the calls, you have to use our dialer. And the reason for that is that's how we're going to track this. That's the main reason. And on those 15 days that you log in, you have to contact an average of 15 people each day. So to put it into perspective, if you logged in, say, just every weekday, it would really be an average of 11 people each day. And when I say you have to contact, I don't mean you have to have a huge conversation here. I mean, they have to pick up the phone. That's it.
I was gonna say, what if they pick up and then hang up on you?
That counts. That's a contact. Yeah. Go away. or even, you shouldn't hear too much of this, but wrong number, whatever, right? That still counts. It's just anybody who, we call them connections because the phone connected to something other than a voicemail. So that's what that is. And then lastly, part of that is we do want you to get a listing. So you do have to go to at least 4 of those workshops that I mentioned over the course of the month. We host 2 of them each week. So there's plenty of opportunities for you to do that. And that's it. Those are the only stipulations to.
And the Zoom workshops are really amazing. I like to go to, I think it's the one on Thursdays where everyone, they role play, they talk about scenarios of what's actually going on when they call people. Like, it's actually, even if you don't say anything, it's really helpful just to sit and listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. And what the best part about it is they're run by agents who have built their whole businesses doing this, right?
Yeah.
And they're active agents. They're not people who are no longer doing real estate and they're doing coaching now. No, these are active agents in the market who do this all the time. And so you're not getting old information. This is current. Yeah.
And I think, wasn't Jackie Kravis, wasn't she on one of the calls? I think she was on one of the calls.
Yeah, Jackie, for now, actually, she's running our Objection Slayers training.
That's the one, the Objection Slayers. Yeah, because I was gonna say, didn't she build her like whole business from Espresso Agent, doing the
I don't know about that.
the expired? I mean,
oh yeah, she did. From making, her business was built from calling. Absolutely. Yeah, and she's huge. Jackie is amazing. Gosh, I love her. Her insight and her role plays are out of this world. They're fantastic. So definitely check those out.
It's good listening to her because she has no fear, no hesitation when she does these calls. And that kind of like rubs off on you. So when you get off the call, you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna make some calls. Let's do this.
You know, and just like you said, just listening to them and hearing them in the background is worth it, because when you are with a client and they do give you an objection that she might have handled, the back of your mind, it's there in the back of your mind, and it might just come to you right when you're talking to that person, and then you can use it, you know. So it really helps out. The more you can expose yourself to top tier training, you know, the better you're going to do, bar none, hands down.
Absolutely. I agree. Any other questions? And I will throw the recording of this in the group, and I'll also put my link in there. And if Louis needs any information that he wants me to throw in there as well, that'll be in there as well.
Sounds good. Have a good day.
Yes, no
too.
more questions before we jump off. Rachel, you usually have questions. You're good. All right.
She's
I know
sad.
usually everyone's with so many questions, and today everyone's like, it's Thursday. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm done for the week.
That's
Well,
okay.
thank you, Louis, for being here and going
Pleasure.
over the whole platform. You guys reach out to me, reach out. I'll put all the contact information if you have more questions about anything. And I appreciate you, Louis, for being here. And I will see you
course.
guys next week.
See you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.